Ladies and gentlemen, Caesars Lake Tahoe proudly presents Andy Andrews.
This is great, boy. You guys showed up and everything. I'm ready to party. I am everywhere I go. It's one big party after another. Just from last week, I have Tupperware to last me a lifetime. I'm ready to go. I guess I would tell you guys before we get started that this is what I do. I'm a comedian. And a lot of people don't think this is any big deal, but God gave me this talent. He said, get out there and act stupid so everybody else can lead a normal life. That's what I do. I'm the one who thinks up all the weird thoughts, all the weird questions like, why is a chicken the only animal we can eat before it's born and after it's dead? Why does your garbage always weigh more than your groceries did? And what is it about being in a car alone makes everybody want to pick their nose, huh? I wonder about these things. I wonder, I don't know. I guess being a comedian, like you pretty much think my parents are proud of me. They wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, something conventional like that. I had to be a comedian. Oh, sure, they're proud of me now that I'm actually doing something. This wasn't always the case. You used to all the time be hassling me, comparing me to other children. Why can't you be more like that swaggart boy down the street? There's a kid's going to make a name for himself. See, my dad was one of these kind that would always be telling you stuff. You know how he does, like when Abraham Lincoln was your age, Abraham Lincoln had a job. When Abraham Lincoln was your age, Abraham Lincoln walked 12 miles through the snow to get to school. I'd say when Abraham Lincoln was your age, he was president, okay? My dad would be so proud of me. Fathers are proud of their kids. We were like walking down the street, and meeting friends on the street, and my dad would be saying things like, can you say your name? Can you tell them how old you are? And it was really embarrassing for me, Andy, 19. Dad was kind of dumb, I guess. My mother was just like all mothers. All you guys had mothers like my mom. She had that speech problem. You're the one where they can't say anything to a kid without putting the word just in front of it. Just where do you think you're going? Just what do you think you're doing? The one that confuses the 4-year-olds, just who do you think you are? God, I knew, so I was saying things like, don't play with those arrows. They'll poke your eye out. Don't play with that stick, it'll poke your eye out. I'm always thinking you can't poke your eye out with a stick. You can poke it in. You poke it out, you got to run it up through your nose, up like this, huh? She's always checking out my senses. Mothers do that to their kids. Do you have any feelings at all? Are you deaf? Are you blind? I was always waiting for the one that never came. Can you smell? Can you? She was scared of me in a grocery store. Scared to death of me in a grocery store because I would embarrass her. I was like 4 years old. I could walk in the grocery store secure in the knowledge that here I am at the A&P. This is my turf. Because the minute she'd try to whip me, I'd be down before her. I'm not the baseball bat. People be looking down the aisle going, what is she doing to that kid? That is awful. Mother grabbed me up by the arm and marched me out of that store. You know how mothers grab their kids up by the arm and march them out of the store? Your feet touch the ground every 20 yards. She'd open up that back car door and say, get in the car. It was funny. Her mouth would never move. Get in the car. I'd look up at her and say, why? She'd throw me in there and all the way home. Boy, she'd be giving it to me. I can't believe you're any kind of son of mine. If you were any kind of son of mine. By the time we got home, she convinced herself I wasn't her kid. First thing she'd say to my dad, do you know what your son did at the grocery store? My dad would go in on me, I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. I'm going to wear you out. I don't mean maybe. Then you do the most amazing thing that all fathers do to their kids. They get like an inch in front of my face and scream, do you hear me? You think I know that I can smell you, boy. Only thing I hate to tell you this about parents is they lie. I mean, they do. All parents lie. Of course, you don't mind the little lies. Lies like Santa Claus and Easter Bunny. But like one time my parents told me, this is ridiculous. My parents told me fooling around with wild women will make your nose grow funny. Those guys always lying about something. I don't know. This is great. I am so excited, though, to be here at Caesars Tahoe. I mean, this is the nicest place around and everything. And I've watched you guys today donating in there in the casino. And I figure I got a great idea. I got a great idea how we could do some good out there. Does every one of us jump up out of here right now and run through that casino, grab all the chips we can, and run like crazy? I mean, they'd catch some of us, but that's gambling, ain't it? You guys look so cute. I mean, you're dressed up very well tonight, but today very casual and all in your izods and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Little alligators on the shirts, and those are very expensive. They're very expensive shirts, and I mean, why? What are we paying for, alligator? Doesn't mean anything. And the polo shirts, the man on the horse, they're like $5 or $6 more than the Izod. Why? I figure maybe the man on the horse has an alligator on his shirt. I don't know. I figure maybe we ought to have our own little shirts, that tells a little bit more about ourselves. Like I'm a comedian, I could have a little microphone right up here. A carpenter could have a little hammer. Airline pilot, a little airplane. A policeman could have a little glazed donut. Undercover cop, a plain donut. I don't know. Policemen are easy to make fun of those, especially where I'm from. I'm originally from L.A., Lower Alabama. And in Alabama, see, it's different because, I guess where you're from, they pull you over with a siren. Alabama, they shoot your tires out. I'm not kidding. It's like, all right, get out your car and put your hands on the roof. Reach in your pocket and give me a license, boy. Real slow. I think I'm going to take you to jail, boy. Says here, you're supposed to be wearing glasses. You got contacts. I don't care who you know, boy. I said, you're going to jail. You got to watch out for them. People in Alabama are different anyway. They are, I admit it. People ask me all the time about it, but I'll tell you, we got rednecks there. I admit it. We got people, they're funny just to listen to them talk. Like this guy that I fish with sometimes, his name's Hollis Ledlow. And Hollis is an inventor. And Hollis talks like this. Y'all probably seen a lot of the things I invented. I'm the guy that invented the smoke alarm with the snooze button. It gives you a little extra time to get out of your house, I like to invent things to help people. Like people don't wear the seatbelts no more. I say the heck with seatbelts. Let's all just wear fuzzy clothes and make seats out of Velcro. I like to watch the things people invent and wonder why people invent what they do. Like whoever invented that brush that hangs beside the toilet. That thing hurts. I'll stick to the paper, thank you very much. I love America though, boy, because America's the land of the free. People don't like America, make me madder than a beaver with a toothache, and I'll tell them so. Met this girl from England the other day. She said, people from England was better than people from America. Well, that made me pig-biting mad, and I told her so. Ain't nobody better than America. And people over there taking our planes, blowing things up. A bunch of Shiite Muslims. A bunch of chicken Shiites. I'd like to send Rambo over there, then the Shiites would hit the fan, wouldn't they? She said, well, in England, we got Boy George. Big deal. Who's Boy George? He ain't no singer. Make a good speed bump somewhere. And that Jackson kid, what's his deal? Michael Jackson, like 4 feet tall, he weighs 60 pounds, he looks like Diana Ross, and what's the name of his album? Bad. I'm bad. Yeah, he's bad. He makes Liberace look like Mike Tyson. And this girl, she said, don't forget, we people in England used to own you. I said, yeah, and you'd still own us too if you jerks hadn't fought standing up like that. Bunch of idiots run around in red coats like targets. She said the red coats had a reason. The red coats was so when they got shot, the blood wouldn't show. I wouldn't need no red coat, somebody shooting a cannon at me. I'd need brown pants. Thank you. People always say to me, boy, you must be really brave standing up there doing that stuff. And I don't know, this is not really brave to me, because I'm just goofing off. If we were really doing something, it might be brave. But I figure brave people are the people who did something first. Don't you think? The first person to ever do something in the history of the world, that's really brave. Like the guy to drink milk the first time. Well, he's probably standing there, one of his friends said, see that growth hanging under that cow? You squeeze it, I'll drink what comes out. I guess you can look like an idiot being the first person to do something too, because I guess the first guy to smoke tobacco, his friends must have thought he was a jerk. Hey, I'm going to stick these leaves in my mouth and set them on fire. But I figure the bravest person in the history of the world had to be the guy who ate the first egg. Watch that chicken. Next thing comes out of his butt, I'm going to eat it. And can't you see him trying to convince his friends? Oh, it's good. It's really good. I have such a good time just getting to travel around and stuff like that. I was in Louisville, Kentucky, the other day. I don't know if any of you guys are from Louisville, but that's the way you say it. That's the way. It's Louisville. It's Louisville. And the reason I say that, because I was there, I was in this restaurant, and there were these guys in the booth behind me talking about Louisville this and Louisville that, and I should have shut up, but I got to open my big mouth. So excuse me, but it's pronounced Louisville. The guy said, no, it's Louisville. This is Louisville, Kentucky, where the Louisville Cardinals are. And I said, sir, I promise. I've lived in the South all my life. It's Louisville. The guy said, no, it's Louisville. So I called the waitress over, and I said, all right, real slow, tell us where we are. She said, Burger King. No kidding. I ate at McDonald's today. Can you believe that? Right here in Lake Tahoe. They got one over here, right next door to Caesar's. A McDonald's. Now, what is the most prevalent word on the McDonald's menu? No, see, most people think that. Most people think it's Mac, but it's really Every word on the menu has a before it. Muffin, chicken. Why did they do what they did with the drive-in window? Why did they put the same kid at every drive-in window nationwide? You know the one, McMoron. I'm like, welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please? Yes, I'd like 2 hamburgers, 1 cheeseburger, 1 pie, and 2 Cokes. 2 hamburgers, 2 cheeseburgers, a pie, and a Coke? No, I said I wanted 2 hamburgers, 1 cheeseburger, 1 pie, and 2 Cokes. A hamburger, 2 cheeseburgers, a pie, and a Coke? No, please, listen to me carefully and repeat this after me, McMoron. I said I wanted 2 hamburgers, 1 cheeseburger, 1 pie, and 2 Cokes. And that's all. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Would there be any fries with that order? Why don't they leave you alone? I know how to get them back. You ever driven up to the drive-in window? You got to notice this. They've got a little volume control in there. Somebody talks soft, they'll turn them up. Somebody talks loud, they'll turn them down. So what I like to do, I like to drive up there, and when they say, welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order? I just go, they turn me up a little bit. Pardon me, sir? Then they'll turn it all the way up. Sir, you're going to have to speak up if I'm going to hear your order. Give me a hamburger and a Coke! Ever driven around there, seen them all lying on the floor? I don't mind, boy. I guess I ought to tell you a little bit about myself. I don't know if you guys know anything about me at all. My name's Andy Andrews, and comedian. I didn't always do this for a living. I worked for a while in an M&M factory, so proofreader, working hard there. And you'll find some W's if you look. I just flew in. I flew in day before yesterday over here to the airport. Didn't get my luggage. Scared me to death. I thought I'm going to have to borrow clothes for the shows. And it was like 2 hours I waited. Finally got them. It was my own fault. Tried to save money on the flight. Flew in one of those generic airlines. Had plane written on the side out there. But I made it. Oh, let me tell you who was on the flight. I don't know why, but was Dale Evans. You know who I'm talking about? Roy Rogers' wife? I couldn't believe it. I said, daggum, there she is. And she was real nice. I went up and I talked to her, and she was real nice. I said, what happened to Trigger? And she said, get this. She said, Trigger died, and Roy had him stuffed and put in the living room. Is that weird? And I said, what about Bullet, the dog? And she said, died, stuffed, living room. I said, well, I guess we can only hope Roy dies before you do. Oh, let me tell you what I did. This was like a couple of months ago. Absolute truth. I did a show at the White House for a White House dinner for a drug-free America. That was the neatest thing because, it's like, all right, if I'm standing right here, right there, the most important person in America, and the fact that she let Ron come too, I thought was really neat. They were sitting there together, and he would kind of laugh when she'd jab him, It was really neat. I like him because he'll do it. He's just one of those guys that'll do it. He don't take nothing. He'll just go out and do it. It kind of scares you a little bit. No, he's kind of afraid to turn on the TV in the morning. He might be there going, well, guess what I did? I thought when that Persian Gulf thing, that last thing that happened, I thought, gee, are we going to have a war? But then I thought, nah, but if we did have a war, at least that would be one for me, for my generation. Because, I mean, Grenada, that's all I got. I mean, you think about it. My grandfather has World War II. My father, Korea. Big brother, Vietnam. Grenada, that's me. I mean, that's going to be embarrassing in 20 years. My kids say, Daddy, tell me about the war. Well, that was one tough afternoon. Isn't that weird how when I'm standing up here, if I shut up, you guys get real quiet too? Kind of makes you a little bit nervous, don't it? I'm just taking a water break. I always drink it with a straw. My mother hated that. Ooh, my mother hated that. Of course, I was breastfeeding at the time. Any you guys ever been on a cruise ship? Yeah, you ever done that? Because I've been on quite a few of those. What ship were you on? All right, you tell them. I'm not lying, because people ask me all the time, is a real ship like the Love Boat on TV? It ain't, is it? Because real ship sways back and forth. I mean, you never see anybody throw up on TV, do you? And the people are so old, aren't they? And I can say that because there's nobody in here that's over 100. I mean, I can say, but really, on a real ship, the average age is deceased. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's either newlyweds or nearly deads, one or the other. And you don't put a glass of water anywhere, they'll put their teeth in it every time. And it's like these people go on vacation, it's like they left their brains at home. I mean, I've been asked some of the dumbest questions. Now tell me, is this not stupid, all right? I have actually been asked, do the entertainers sleep on the ship too? What time is the midnight buffet? Does the ship have its own electrical supply? No, we drag an extension cord from Miami. What these people are thinking. I had a lady ask me one time, she said, is the water in the toilet salt water or fresh? I said, I don't know, I haven't tasted it lately. I was walking through the purser's lobby late one night. There's this little old lady, cute as she could be, you know, she looked kind of confused. And I said, can I help you find something? She said, well, I've lost my cabin. So, well, tell me what your cabin number is. Maybe I can help you find it. She did, and I said, yes, ma'am, I'm going right by there. Come on, you can walk with me. So we were walking down the hall. She looks up at me. She says, you know your way around this ship pretty good. You must have been on here before. I said, yes, ma'am, I have. I've been on this ship many times. She said, well, what do you do for a living? You can afford so many cruises. So I'm thinking she doesn't know who I am, you know. So I figured I'd have a little fun with her. I said, well, I'm a gigolo. And about this time, another lady walked down the hall who had seen my show the night before. She said, kid, last night you were fantastic. A lot of explaining to do there really fast. I want to show you something. This is something kind of new here. This is a calculator for the blind. And it really is. It's a calculator for the blind. And I got this from Ray Charles. I really did. Let's see.
Set on.
See, it's like
9 divided by 2 equals 4.5.
And it'll tell you the date.
It's Saturday, July 9th today.
And it'll tell you the time.
It's 8:15 p.m.
See, isn't that neat? And I got that from Ray Charles. I was flying on a plane with him from New York to Los Angeles and got to be good friends with him. He just gave it to me. Actually, he put it down and I took it. But I sent him a present for it, a Rubik's Cube, so I think he'll really like that. It's really neat. It does other things other than just calculations. It does things like it'll tell the weather. Like, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?
Clear.
And what's the golfer say before he hits the ball?
4.
4. What is it rude to do in public?
2 point.
To point. How many times do you have to tell a kid not to point?
5 times.
And what's the weather going to be like?
Clear.
Clear. Thank you very much. See, it's really neat. It does other things than that. It's like sometimes, well, it does impressions. Here, I'll show you. Like, you heard it tell what the time is.
It's 8:16 p.m.
Now tell us what time it is, and do it like Mel Tillis.
It's 8:16 p.m.
Sometimes we just sit around and sing together because it has a beautiful voice. It really does. Here, we'll do part of a duet for you. We'll do part of T for two. T
4 2
and
2 4.
T, that's me.
4.
You and you.
4.
Me. I know, pretty stupid. People ask me all the time, people say, you're an entertainer, you're out there entertaining other people, what do you do to entertain yourself? I do impressions. But I don't do normal impressions. I do impressions of things we've all seen, things we've all heard, but you never really thought about. Like the guy on the old Password show, you remember him? He was there every single day, but you never saw him. The password is malfunction. Remember the lady who did this?
1 item 12, 1 item 12. See the woman, code 3.
She lost her job. She's working down here at a department store now. She's the one that goes,
Attention Kmart shoppers, the blue light special is now in effect.
yeah, I hate those Kmart stores. Like, not enough of these people that got 50-foot high blue letters on top of their store telling you where you are. Kmart! The whole time you're in there, they have to keep bombarding you with where you are.
Attention Kmart shoppers, if you notice our Kmart blue light special now flashing our Kmart menswear department where our Kmart leisure suits on sale at the low Kmart price of only $30. As always, Kmart shoppers, thank you for shopping Kmart.
And aren't we stupid? We still go up to the cash register. Who do I make this check out to? Hey, you know, people say to me, how did you get really started doing that? I think everybody kind of has that ability to act crazy, and I think a lot of it comes from being a big brother. I mean, were you guys big brothers? Are you guys big brothers? See, are you good at torturing people? That's the thing. If you're a big brother, you got to be good at that. And I was the best. I was a mean 12-year-old. Because my little sister was just so much fun to scare. Christy was about 5, you know. And I mean, her bedroom was across the hall from mine. And late at night, I could see her in there. And I'd say anything. I didn't care. I mean, anything to scare. I mean, trees blowing up against the window. I'd say things like, boy, the trees are really hungry tonight. I hear that little voice in there. What? The trees, you know, the trees that eat little kids. They do not. And you're trying to scare me. If you try to scare me, I'm going to call Daddy. Christy, if you call Daddy, I'm going to die. Oh, you will not die. Christy, I'm dead. Oh, you are not dead. I'm calling Daddy. Daddy, Daddy! And Daddy come in there and said, all right, what's going on in here? Daddy, Andy's dead. Christy, Andy is not dead. Yes, he is. He's dead. Andy, tell her you're not dead. I'm sorry, Dad. I am dead. Then my dad would go crazy. Boy, he'd pull out that belt. You remember that? I can still hear that sucker coming through those loops. And then dads, they don't just whip you. They got to toy with you first. They got to make that little production out of everything. Double that belt up and pop it. And then we always started whimpering. You know, you don't really cry. There's nothing to cry about yet. It's just that. And my dad would always ask that stupid question, what are you whimpering about? And I'd always give that stupid answer, nothing. And my dad, he'd tear me up, boy. He'd whip me. He'd tear me up and say, now go back to bed and go to sleep. And I love you. That killed me. I never could understand that. He'd whip me and say, I love you. But that's parental logic. That's the way it works. If you're a parent, your logic flies out the window. It does. Remember, here. Remember when you were little and you'd say to your mom, hey, Mom, can I go to the movie? She'd say, no. But, Mom, Billy's going. Just because Billy's going doesn't mean you can go too. Then the next week you'd say, hey, Mom, can I go to the movie? Is Billy going? No. Well, if Billy's not going, you're not going either. I never understood that. So what is tonight now? Tonight is Thursday night. So if we were home, what would we be watching on TV? What's on? Yeah, L.A. Law. Yeah, I like that. See, I like to watch TV, but I like to watch the commercials. Because I like to watch it when they talk about stuff you wish they wouldn't talk about. Like, have you seen the one where the guy says, doctors agree, 70% of Americans suffer from hemorrhoids. 70% suffer? I suppose 30% enjoy the darn things. And they got those cutie pie commercials, you know, the ones with the music in them. Ask any mermaid you happen to see what's the best tuna chicken of the sea. There's a claim, isn't it? Ask any mermaid you happen to see. Oh, ask any mermaid about our tuna. If I see a mermaid walking down the street, tuna's not going to be on my mind. And they got those commercials that'll scare you. You know what I'm talking about that'll scare you? Like, what's that they say for Charmin bathroom tissue? It's irresistible. That scares me. What does that mean? If I use it, I won't be able to stop. And what's that they say for X-Lax? Works while you sleep. That scares me too. That's a problem I don't have to deal with there. I don't like the commercials for the military. Because commercials for the military, these do not give me faith in my government. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, hi, my name's Bubba. I played high school football. I wasn't good enough for a college scholarship. I wasn't intelligent enough for academic scholarship. But now, thanks to the federal government, I have a career. I'm in the Army building nuclear warheads. I have a good time doing this. People ask me all the time, they say, how do you think of that weird stuff? And I don't know, sometimes things just hit you. You know, I was in a grocery store yesterday and saw a picture of Paul Newman's face on a bottle of salad dressing. Does that mean he's missing? Just curious. And I started giving some advice and all. I started doing that because I thought, you know, people think, well, he's just a comedian, he ain't got no purpose in life. And I thought, well, if I give advice or something, then they could say, well, he was kind of funny, but we learned something. So, stop smoking. I mean, you smoke and stop smoking. That's good advice. And because smoking is like the leading cause of statistics in the country right now. Learn your metric system. Learn your metric system because it's coming. The metric system is going to be here, and I'm supporting the metric system every inch of the way. And another thing is be kind to your pets. And I'm thinking about that, be kind to your pets, because one of my friends is not very kind to his, like does it in the wrong place, like rub his head in it, and hits it with a newspaper and a belt. I mean, the buckle end. And that'll kill a parakeet. So I always liked those animal shows. You know, we had good animal shows when we grew up, like Wild Kingdom. I loved that show because that guy Marlon Perkins, I could identify with him. He was a coward. I'd be doing the same thing. While Jim is fighting the ferocious African lion, I'll go back to camp and make weenies for lunch. Jim looks like he's in big trouble. By golly, Jim is in big trouble. But Jim has me for a partner, just one more reason why he needs Mutual of Omaha. Oh, Marlon. And like, all right, like kids today don't have good animal shows, right? What did we have? When we grew up, we had Flipper and Gentle Ben and Lassie. Lassie was my favorite. I love Lassie. I mean, we watched Lassie every week, but we never could figure that show out, could we? Because we never could figure out how a dog could understand everything the people would say. And the people would understand everything the dog would say. Did you ever notice how Timmy would talk to Lassie? Lassie, go get Mom and Grandpa. Tell them I'm down by the beaver pond and I'm stuck under a pine tree. And Lassie, it's a loblolly pine tree, not the longleaf variety. They're on the North 40, Lassie, not the South 40, but the North 40 on the red tractor. Go, Lassie, go! And Lassie, take off. She'd be getting it across that field. They'd see Lassie coming, they'd automatically know. Here comes Lassie. Looks like trouble. Lassie get up there and say, what is it, Lassie? What is it, girl? Woof. Oh my God, Jimmy's down by a beaver pond under a pine tree. How do they know? I never figured that out. This has been a lot of fun. You know, I went to play golf today with Kenny. First time I ever played golf in my life. I don't know how many of you guys play golf. He took me and I got a 94, which is the first time. Pretty good for the first time. And no, smart guy. It was a full 18 holes. I was a little worried when I started because, like, the first ball I hit, it bounced off the clown's face and into the windmill. There'll be people getting that on the way home. Oh, putt, I get it now. I want to try something before I get out of here. I have decided that I'm going to be a good father one day. I know I'm not even married yet, but one day I'm going to be a good father. And I know that I will because I've watched you guys for so long in malls with your own kids. I'm going to know what to say. The things my parents said are still ringing in my ears. And so what I've done, I have compiled the 50 most famous parental sayings. No particular order. I figure everybody can relate to this because either you are a parent or you got one. But I'm going to do these in no particular order, and I want to try to do them in less than 90 seconds. You better change your tune pretty quick or you're out of here. I mean it. Is that understood? Don't shake your head at me. I can't hear your head rattle. And don't mumble. You act as if the world owes you a living. You got a chip on your shoulder. You're not going anywhere looking like that. You're crazy if you think you are. If you think you are, just try me. I don't know what's wrong with you. I never saw a kid like you. Other kids don't pull stuff like that. I wasn't like that. What kind of an example do you think you are for your brothers and sisters? Sit up straight. Don't slouch. Would you like a spanking? If you'd like a spanking, just tell me now. We'll get this thing over with. You're cruising for a bruising. I'm your father. As long as you live in my house, you'll do as I say do. You think the rules don't apply to you? I'm here to tell you that they do. Are you blind? Watch what you're doing. You walk around here like you're in a daze. Something better change and change fast. You're driving your mother to an early grave. This is a family vacation. You're going to have fun whether you like it or not. Take some responsibility. Pull your own weight. Don't expect other people to pick up after you, and don't ask me for money. What do you think I'm made out of money? Do you think I have a tree that grows money? You better wake up, and I don't mean maybe. Do you act like this when you're away from us? We've given you everything we possibly could. Food on the table, a roof over your head, things we never had when we were your age. You treat us like we don't exist. That's no excuse. If he jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff too? You're grounded. I'm not going to put up with this for another minute. You're crazy if you think I am. If you think I am, just try me. Don't look at me that way. Look at me when I talk to you. Don't make me say this again. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen,